Hello and welcome to my Saturday where I am planning math. A few disclaimers before we begin. Number one is my voice. I am dealing with a cold. You know, you get coughed on at your small group table and hence 'tis the season to be sick. Also, my hair is air drying. Originally was going to wait and film this after my hair had dried and I had fixed it, but then I was like, no, I gotta get math going. And I can just be real about what it's like to plan on a weekend. And so here we are. If you're new here, I'm Rachel Vincent. I'm a 4th grade teacher in South Carolina, and I have been teaching for 22 years. This year is my first year planning math in a really long time. I've been at my current school, this is my 8th year, and I have planned reading, writing, and word study, and just writing and word study for the last several years. But we got new math standards and new math curriculum, and I was talking with my teammate who normally planned math, and I knew it would be a little overwhelming for her, and I told her I would be happy to take on the task of planning math. So I'm gonna go over to the computer and sort of show you how I plan math. Some of it I do at school and some of it I do at home. There's one big portion I do at home where the rest I can get done at school, and there's several reasons. But again, in full transparency, I can't sit here all day and chat and get the math plans done. My thought for this video is to share with you sort of how I get started, how I have everything organized, and then actually just screen record me doing the plans and get that done. And then I can go back and add a voiceover and explain my process and why I do some of it at home, especially if you've been around and you know how I am big on getting what you can get it done at school and don't take it home, those kinds of things. So I'm just in one of those seasons where I have to do some of it at home for my own sanity. So enough chit chat, I'm gonna turn you guys around and show you how I have everything organized to kind of keep myself on track and figuring things out, because math is a lot. Welcome to my math folder in my Google Drive. This is where I keep everything organized. I actually have this for all the areas, and oh, that needs to go in math because I use that. And so even if I don't plan the subject, I have it, and I just kept random things. So in my math folder with some random things, I might have needed to make a copy of the lesson slides or different things like that. So it just has a bunch of random stuff. And so as I get into each unit, I kind of organize it a little better. Honestly, I may not organize it a little better, but I name them a little better. And then things I'm not using, I put in a little extra materials folder. One of the big things I'm doing as far as planning each unit, because I'm pulling from so many different places, I created sort of a unit planning document that houses everything I'm doing. Number one, it takes all the pieces from all the locations that we have them, from our district pacing guide, from my personal folder, from this math folder that was a former coworker that did a lot of planning, from the coworker, she shared her folder with me where she did her planning. And so now I'm sort of creating my math folder with those things that I'm copying and pasting, resources that we're still using and things like that. So this document here really helps, one, me make sure I can find all the things instead of looking through a bajillion folders. Two, when I have to write out our formal lesson plans, because we have to turn in lesson plans weekly with certain criteria and things included, I have it all in one location. And so it's a lot of just copying and pasting, and I don't have to sort of make that up every week. That's where all this comes from, or that's what this is. I am creating it as I go. So I have already created our next unit, the unit I'm planning today. Well, I've already planned the unit. It's the slides I'm doing today. This is all ready to go. It's not 100%, as you can see. We finished our division test on Thursday, so Friday's done because that's next Friday. And then this is what I'll be planning this week. I'm going to try to get us through, well, actually, I'm going to plan us through the end of second quarter, which is December. So we go through Thanksgiving break through December, and then that's what a lot of this is. Like, we have benchmarking at the end of December, and then we'll be finished with our unit on the 10th of December, but our last day is the 19th, and we've got benchmarking in there, so we're not going to start a new unit, but I still have to plan something for us to do during that. But I have nothing planned for the units after that, except just the outline. I will share a blank copy of this if you're interested in formatting it for your own needs. I obviously can't share this because it has paid resources linked, things I've purchased, that our district provides and stuff like that. So I can't share all of this with you, but I can share just a blank one if you want to organize yourself that way. Oh, by the way, just thought I would share, like I said, we got brand new math standards. I teach in South Carolina, 4th grade. Our curriculum that we use is Reveal Math. It's decent. It's by McGraw-Hill. I really like that it's just basic. I feel like our last math book just had so much in it. We had these giant books for students to use, and these are a lot smaller. They break it down into 2 volumes, which our last ones did too, but our district liked to jump back and forth through the volumes, and that was a pain to help kids stay organized. This year, we pretty much follow the pacing of the book, which I appreciate, but just to kind of let you know what we use for math. And I'll show you what our district does for us, because they plan out sort of our units. It's a suggested pacing, and so I kind of go with that and then do what I think I know is best for our students. Our district also does a fantastic job at providing us pacing, where we kind of have to, like, all of this stuff I have done myself. But for each unit, they give us an overview with our standards, the 3rd and 5th grade standards, which this year is not 100% because they're brand new, and so they may or may not have seen these. Our assessment that we use, and then a breakdown of the standards. But the biggest thing they also give us is a suggested pacing, which is what this is. So this is the suggested pacing for our equivalent fraction unit. And they tell us what lessons from the book go with our standards and a breakdown of how it works. And then anything with this little symbol is a lesson that we create ourselves. This unit is actually the first unit that I'm kind of veering off of this a little bit for, like, division, and pretty much every unit before that, I pretty much did it how they did it. I apologize, all this talking is making me cough. So I have a cough drop. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. But this lesson is one lesson that they suggest for pretty much converting mixed numbers to improper fractions and vice versa. That's what this says here. But based on previous years of experience, I know it takes students more than one day to figure that out. And we have the time because of the holidays, and we're not starting the next unit until after winter break. So I went back and looked at our old lesson plans in previous years. And so that is the strategy or the pacing I am doing. We are going to do pretty much a week, well, 3 days, because we have a field trip this year, 3 days of improper fractions to mixed numbers and vice versa, and then take a little quiz on it. And then we go to school those 2 days before Thanksgiving. So we'll just do a fun little Thanksgiving things. And then when we get back, we'll hit the equivalent fractions. And so these are the book lessons. I always start with a unit test. Eventually, I link the study guide, so I have it for future years. I have been finding booklets to go with different skills that we're doing. The fractions had a lot, so there's a lot of booklets, but it's an easy way to keep them practicing skills, and they think they're just playing games and having fun. That's where we're at. So I use this status over here to let me know when I'm completely finished with something. So one of the things I did at school was I planned out all of so skills practice is the practice that goes with the lesson. Review is a review skill. And so a lot of it's going to be things that are going to be on our 2nd quarter benchmark. So we're reviewing multiplication and factors. And I think this one is maybe prime and composite. And then group work, it says group work because I wanted to make sure that I was honoring the teacher who planned math before it, because she created sort of a rotation chart and things like that. So I wanted to make sure that was available to any teacher who wanted to still do rotations. And I'll kind of show you that on the slides when we get there. But it's mostly just a digital assignment. A lot of the resources I use are from Jennifer Finley and Super Teacher's worksheets, because she makes great stuff, and Super Teacher has real specific worksheets that focus on one skill that a lot of times is what we need for our practice. If we're using the book, the skill is we use the book. And then we use IXL, so I find the code that goes with that lesson for teachers to assign to their students. We do give math homework, and so it's either a worksheet if we're not using the book, or they have a student practice book that they take home and do the page out of that. And so in progress lets me know that basically all that I have left to do are my slideshows for the teaching lesson. Oh, and then these are just extra resources for teachers who pool small groups to give their students extra practice. And then the red means I pretty much need to really figure out, like, another thing I did to sort of set myself up for success during the school year. I did the big, it's on my other screen now, my math unit planning and this over the summer, so I would have it in place. And so I just set myself up with some lesson slide templates so that they all look the same. I can just copy and paste and make planning it work. So then when I'm pulling from our old slides, not reinventing the wheel, just putting them on a new car. And the new car are the slides, just so it's all cohesive, especially because I have 2 brand new teachers on our team this year, and I knew they just needed a good format of a math lesson. So I have it broken down with a slide for last night's homework, our warm-up, which I actually don't use that. It's just a placeholder. Review slides if we need like a video or to review previous lessons. The learning target, a turn and talk slide for gluing something in our notebooks, math book, the topic we're actually teaching, you do. Test practice, because we take our unit assessments plus our benchmark on Mastery Connect, and those questions tend to be a lot, and sort of students need exposure to them and to be able to understand how to break them down and things like that. So we tend to do those a lot in math. Our closing, tonight's homework, and then this is the must do and the rotation slide. And this is what comes from that document where I have the skill practice and the review and the group work and all that happens over here. And then this is from somebody else. I think I'm on somebody's email list or that I got this. But basically this slide, when I put it in there, allows me, it shows up when I want to change colors, all the colors from that slide show up. I use the same exact slides. I just use different colors. And so the first slide is just so I can see what that topic is, because it gets cut off here a lot. Like I wouldn't remember what other is, but I can see other division strategies. Got it. And so I just change it. And so for fractions, we're using this cute little hunter green color. To make more sense, I'll just show, because I have the first lesson done, because this is just our sort of review of fractions, because we're doing it on a Friday. Here's our math warm-up that we're doing. The learning target. What is a fraction with a video? Talking about numerator and denominators. Again, all this is review from 3rd grade. It's just been a while since they've seen it all. And then we'll talk about shading, grouping, and then we'll talk about it on a number line. Again, review from 3rd grade. And we will practice it together. They will do a few on their own. And then this is where we'll lead them into talking about how fractions can be larger than 1. This may be new to 3rd grade, where they are introduced to improper fractions or fractions greater than 1, but I'm not sure if our group had currently had it. Closure, and then our must do for the day. It's real simple for a fraction, especially after doing division. So I just made a copy for the lesson 2 that I'm going to create, and this is where I am just going to go into task mode and get these knocked out. But I did want to show you my math warm-ups. I attended a online math conference over the summer that was really good. I got a lot of good information. I knew I was planning math, so I wanted to kind of brush up on some best practices and things like that. And a lot of the discussion was on number sense and being able to think differently and outside of the box. So I sort of came up with this idea. Math Monday is usually a mystery number. I found all these mystery videos on YouTube that we watch, and a lot of it's mental math where they're having to like quickly add and different things like that. Tuesday is typically like a sort of little math puzzle. They really like these. I found these online that I just snipped and put in here. Wednesday is a which one does it belong. We started the year with just pictures of what doesn't belong, and then now we have moved on to numbers, and then this one is actually fractions, or it can be fractions. We'll see if they make the connection. Thursday is estimating, and their estimations were crazy at the beginning of the year, but they have gotten much better as we have gone on. And then Friday is a would you rather. And so it typically tends to be like still math related, but they sort of almost real world math. And so I have bulk created these. I spent one, see, here's a number 1. So I'm ready to go with these, and I can just copy them into my slides. I will share this with you, and I will also share my template. If you need a template, you can find the links for those down below.
So it is actually a few days later, and my voice is doing better. But I knew I needed to just get some stuff done, which is what you're seeing on the screen now. So let me share with you why I am planning the way I'm planning this year. One of the things is the fact that I like working on 2 monitors, and I have 2 monitors at home where I don't at school, especially when I'm doing something like slides. What you're seeing on your screen is just my main monitor. On the second monitor, I have a bunch of other tabs that I'm just pulling, and especially because I'm pulling from previous year slides, taking things we've already done and putting it into this new slide format. And so it is just easier to work with 2 monitors instead of 1. So that is why I do my slides at home and I do the other planning at school. I tried to plan and do this at school, but I just found it was just so much easier to do it at home. I do my bulk of the actual planning, figuring out the standards, which a lot of it's copying and pasting from our district pacing guide, but figuring all that, that sort of math unit planning guide, I do all of that at school. That way, when I'm at home, I'm literally just creating these slides. But I will say sometimes as I start to create the lesson slides, I realize the lesson doesn't quite match the thing I planned or what I thought it was. Like this happened with our improper to mixed numbers. Like the lesson I thought it was both, but it was just improper to mixed numbers, and the next day was mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I had to kind of go in and tweak what I was doing for our skill practice and the homework and things like that, because I just went on a general idea of what I thought it was instead of really diving deep into the slides. So that does take up some time. And then this day, I actually ended up only getting through Thanksgiving planned. I think mostly because I was filming all this for you guys and trying to share with you what I was doing and things like that. And I got a later start than I wanted to. So I still have to plan for December, but I have a general idea of what I want to do.
So finally, once I have all of my slides done, I've linked them in here. This is just to remind me to print them because I need to make sure I have them for copies. But I've already done this part. I already prepped this earlier, but our formal quote unquote that we have to submit and plus our grade level just uses this. As you see, I just basically copy and paste from here. And then since I created it before my slides were done, I'm just going to copy and put all my slides in here. So we're ready to go for next week. Okay, our quiz is a Google form this go round. And so I just made sure to remind my grade level to make a copy for ourselves because I've been the one that forgets to do that. And over on the side, this is where I link the unit test so that all the teachers know what we're working towards, look at, and then this is a math rotation chart. If this teacher chooses to rotate through instead of doing a must-do list, that I keep that linked in our lesson plans. Well, I hope that gave you some, I don't know if it was inspiration, but at least a behind the scenes look at how I do math planning. Do I think it's the absolute perfect way to do it? Probably not. There's probably easier ways to do it, but I know by putting in the work now that I won't have to do all this work next year. It'll be good to go. We just tweak activities and worksheets and different things, how we teach things, but the slides will all be done for next year, so I cannot wait for that moment. If you're curious how I run my math block, especially that independent work time with the must do or rotations, check out the video that's on your screen now.